Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. I'm Rick Rittma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 34 years. I've helped over 5,200 folks finance their homes. My team and I believe in custom tailored loans, not the one-size-fits-all approach. We believe there is a right mortgage for you, and we believe we are the team to deliver it.
And I'm Ian Arnold, part of Rick's hardworking mortgage team. I've been in the financial industry for 15 years, helping customers rebuild their credit to get the best possible interest rates. And I have a passion in helping you secure your overall real estate dreams. And I have a passion myself in always helping people pay off their mortgages even faster.
And for the most up-to-date information on Indy's real estate market or mortgages, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And today we have a little bit of different show. We have Kelly Kichler. No, did I do that wrong?
Nope, you put it in. She told you not to do it.
Kichler. I didn't put the L. Kichler. So that's
like kitchen,
Kichler.
Yes.
Kelly Kichler. And Kelly is not only has been a phenomenal real estate agent, very, very successful. Now you're really excited about what?
Being a coach.
You're coaching
I'm a
real estate agents?
performance coach, yes.
Awesome.
I love realtors.
Now, do you just work with real estate agents, or do you work with a variety of industries?
My focus is real estate because I've been able to be a part of this amazing industry for so long that I've made friends through here and so many great connections. It's about connections. And so I'm starting here with who I know and the industry that I know the best, which is the real estate. And it's not just realtors, but other affiliates that serve our amazing industry. Okay, perfect.
And so to help people kind of get an idea of who you are, get to know you a little bit, before you got into real estate, where'd you grow up? What was your life like?
What was my life like? Oh, going way, way back.
We want the story.
I'm from Anderson, Indiana. Went to Highland High School, graduated in 1987. Yes, I'm old. 1987. I was part of the marching band.
You're young.
I'm young, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm a baby.
I graduated in 78.
Oh, I am young.
See?
Yay.
I got something done
I'm
today.
keeping my mouth shut.
I was going to say, Ian, you just sit there.
He graduated in 2001.
Oh, he's a little bitty baby.
Yeah.
He's a baby.
I was born in 84, just so.
Oh, my gosh, you were 3 years old when I graduated high school. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, I grew up in Anderson. It was it was such a fabulous experience. Had a great family and a great, next level family with all my cousins and grandparents and everything. It was awesome. And was very busy in the marching band and swing choir and did all the things. And then I went to Disney. I went to Walt Disney World and became a part of their college program.
Oh, awesome.
And it was supposed to last for 6 months, and I stayed 4 years.
4 years?
4 years. It's the best training that I've ever had, and I can still remember being in what they called traditions. Was the training. They called it traditions because, of course, Disney has to have their own way.
Right.
And I just remember the terminology, the things that they taught us. I still don't like the word customer because we never called them the customer. We had guests.
Right.
We had guests. And so that was an amazing experience. But I got homesick and came back, and I actually began my real estate career back in, again, I'm old, 1997. I was part of a title company. So I helped get the files ready for closing. And then thought it would be a good idea my path went to property management, managed apartment communities for over 25 years.
Wow.
And then decided, I always knew I would become a realtor. I just knew it. I knew it. Just the timing wasn't right. Things weren't working out. It was great, but my time that season was over in property management, and I moved on. Got my license in 2014. And the training that I've gotten, just the connections. I knew that I'd have great connections with clients, but the connections that you get to have with other realtors or others in this industry, just really, it was something that I wasn't expecting and something that I just fell in love with. And became a realtor in 2014, and then joined Highgarden Real Estate as their recruiter in 2016. And that was awesome. That really like leveled me up to be in the industry in a different way and focus on relationships in a different way. And that was awesome. Went to Berkshire, spent some time there. And then I decided, I really want to do something to where it's not so specific to brokerages. So I opened up my coaching business. Conversations with KK was born earlier this year. And it's very broker neutral. I want to help serve and pour into realtors, because that's who I love, and others, again, in this industry, that grow that connection, make a big industry a little smaller, and being able to pour into them and help them figure out where they are and where they want to go is something that really excites me a lot. And just seeing other people grow is just amazing.
Yeah. So with the whole coaching, what did you see that you made you go, hey, I think a lot of people need a coach? What did you see to start this?
Oh, I'm glad that you asked that, because it was actually back when I was recruiting. I would meet with people that I wanted to come aboard, and it would kind of turn into a coaching session, a very impromptu, like, and these people that I was meeting with were writing the things down that I was saying. I'm like, they're writing down what I'm saying. What? What are you
careful.
writing down there? And then they would text me and say, hey, I did what you recommended and it's working. I feel like I've got some momentum. And that happened time and time again. I really didn't think that much of it. I'm like, oh, good. I helped someone and just moved on. But then I thought, wait a minute, there's something here. And I feel like I just was so attracted to that mindset. And I felt like there was a need for it, because I feel like there's so much like the purpose of the meeting is to recruit, which it was for me, obviously. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, there was something else here that I could do. I felt like there was a need for people to feel that poured into it. I do make it about them and help them and build them up and help them to get where they want to go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. You got one?
Yeah. To me, I think mentorship, and I relate that with coaching. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the biggest things, that is the most valuable things that you can have. Yeah. I didn't learn this till really my youngest son went to IU, and he ended up in a business fraternity, and in that business fraternity, you ended up with mentors.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
And they taught kids to be mentors, and they taught kids to be mentored. Mm-hmm. Well, he's only 30 years old. Okay. Today he's only 30, but he's vice president of a venture capital company in Chicago, and he's doing phenomenally well because of mentoring.
Yes.
Right. Because of somebody who coached him and helped him. And then guess what? He became somebody who also coaches, because that's how they taught them to do it in this business fraternity. And it's been the best thing he did in his life, I think, for his career, was do that.
Absolutely.
And so his life is so much better because of that. He ended up in the investment banking program at IU, which is, I remember when he told me, Dad, no, those are only for the really smart kids. And then the next thing, no, he's in it, right?
He's in it. Yay, he's smart.
But it's that kind of, but without somebody pushing him, he would have never done those things, right?
Yes.
And so you need the coach.
Yes.
And I've had a coach, and one of the things about that I've noticed, because I've done this a long time, right? So you kind of think you know what to do. And the reality is you actually do know what to do. You just don't do it all the time,
exactly.
Right? So sometimes it takes somebody else to go, because you're working in your business, not on your business, and you help people now work on their business, correct?
Yes. I can help them see from, for lack of better words, a 30,000 angle. Is that the words I want? See it in a different way, perspective, because they can see what they see. But if I can come alongside them and say, oh, but what about this, this, and this? And like, oh, didn't think about that. Or almost giving them permission to dream big and be like, well, why can't you do that? who would you have to become or need to become to achieve that, and help them figure out who is that, and just, you're going to have to do things differently to get the different results, right?
Right.
There's a saying out there: if you keep doing the same things and expect a different result, it's insanity.
That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
I feel like a coach opens people's mind about, whoa, what if you did this?
Right.
Or what if something that wasn't even thought of, because we can see the whole picture. It's just a different perspective. And yes, we definitely hold them accountable. I mean, when my people come to the session and they've promised to do this, and this, and they're not promising me, they're promising themselves, by the way. They're promising themselves to do those things, then they are more likely to do them, because they're like, I got to report on this. So doing the activities, because everybody, like you said, everybody knows what they need to be doing, going out there, prospecting, connecting, and doing whatever it is to produce business, but are they doing it?
Right.
And are they time blocking for it? And I'm helping them do those things that's going to set them apart and differentiate them in the eyes of their clients, which is what they want.
Yeah. And time blocking, that's something Ian and I have started doing. Okay. Now I want you to go a little bit into this, because I think that's one of those things that until you do it, you don't realize the benefit. The benefit is huge. So you talk about it. You know it much better than I do.
Oh, yes. Time blocking is something that is discussed a lot, and people know they should do it, but actually doing it and getting into action and doing it and being deliberate about it, even if it's just a Sunday night, like, okay, this is all the things I need to do for the week. And time blocking whatever it is, and you protect that. You don't have your emails on, you don't have your phone on, you're not getting on Facebook, you are distraction free during that time block, whatever the time block that you need to be doing is. And then you can even set a timer. If you need to set a timer or an alarm from 2 hours from now, when that time block is up, then you know, okay, I'll have my time block or my alarm on, so I can really hone in and focus on what I'm doing and not letting any distractions. But time blocking is huge.
Yes.
And I feel like so many realtors and just salespeople in general aren't focused on the follow-up. There's so many people that I come across, and when I ask them, so what are you doing to keep in touch with the people that you've worked with, that know you, trust you, like you? What are you doing to keep in touch with them? And I have this look of, there's a statistic out there. I think it's 18% or 13%. It's a very low percentage of realtors follow up after that closing is done. And that's what I want almost to give permission to the agents to do that, because that's a lot easier of a phone call to make than cold calling.
Yeah.
And it's not about asking that client that they've worked with, who do you know that wants to buy a house? It's asking them, how are you? How are you doing? How's the house? Do you need help with something, or do you need a plumber or whatever? What's going on in your life that I can help with? How can I add value to you? That's when the magic happens, and everything else will fall into place. I promise.
Yeah, it's about staying in front, especially in today's world. I mean, especially if you're a realtor out there, think about it. I mean, Rick and I, same type of business. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's the constant follow-up, because in 6 months, are they going to remember who that person is if you only work with them for a month? Probably not. But if you stay in front, hey, how's everything going? You don't have to talk about business. Just, hey, just want to check, see how everything is. How's the kids? I heard they're about to graduate, aren't they? And you just make a conversation. Yeah. And then in 4 or 5 months, or we do it every quarter. So, and then we just call them, hey, just check to see how everything's going. But you just try to stay in front. Facebook does a little bit, but let's be honest. So many people post stuff on Facebook.
you can get distracted from the distraction, all that. So yes, and even if you see somebody has a birthday, send them a card. Mm-hmm. People love to get, handwritten notes. I mean, guys, there's so much magic in that, and it's so easy to do, right? But when you send a birthday card to someone, I get excited about it, because your mailbox is usually full of flyers and things that you're throwing in the recycle. But when you get a card that you can feel and touch, and it's handwritten, that sets you apart too.
Yeah. When I do
really
that, they
does.
can't read it.
That's why they know it. Well, it's from Rick.
Yeah,
That's the reason why Rick has assistants.
it is. That's why it's
There
one of
you
the things
go.
they do for me is they send out the cards. But if somebody wanted to get a hold of you for any of their, wanted to talk to you about coaching,
Yeah.
had any questions, what is the best way to do that?
My phone number is 317-525-8048. That's 317-525-8048. And then my email address is Kelly Kichler, Kichler, no T, at conversationswithkk.com.
Okay, it's Kelly, Kelly,
Yes.
Kichler,
Yes.
at
Conversationswithkk.com.
okay, with KK.com. All right,
Yep.
conversationswithkk.com. And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And thanks for listening to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. The gurus we interview share valuable insights. They reveal their strengths, personalities, and how they'll work for you. While we hardworking mortgage guys secure your best mortgage, real estate gurus work hard too. They avoid problems the amateurs don't see. They listen. They find unrealized opportunities. If you're buying or selling a home, a real estate guru is a valuable asset. If you're even thinking of buying or selling a home, keep listening and definitely call one of Indy's real estate gurus.
All right, so we're going to take a little side step and get to know you a little bit more. So if I take away your phone, you cannot work for 24 hours. And I always joke that you got to get out of the fetal position off the floor. What do we catch you doing for fun?
Oh, if it's summertime and it's nice out, I will be outside, walking the Monon, hanging out with my guys. I've got a son, Colin, who's 14, almost 15.
They're
and
young.
little babies. And then my husband is Eric. So I would hope that he would be off of work and we could go do something away from home, a road trip, or something outside, especially right now. But if it's wintertime, we would be bowling.
Awesome.
Oh, you're bowlers.
Oh.
We love to bowl.
So what's
I don't
your
know
high-
if we're bowlers, but we attempt it.
What's your highest score?
300.
No.
299. No, I missed that one.
What, 300 divided by 2? Yeah, it's just for fun.
Yeah.
It's just for fun. We bowl. Or movies. Like we're going to a movie today.
Awesome.
So yeah, just being with the family.
Now, where's your favorite place to road trip?
Ooh, favorite place to road trip. We love going up to Michigan, Lake Saugatuck.
Oh, yeah,
Did I say
okay.
it right? That?
I think
or
so.
Douglas, around there. We love going there. We love going into Cincinnati, Kings Island, and just Cincinnati. It's so
Cincinnati's a
much fun.
beautiful place to go
It's
visit.
so much fun. And
Wouldn't
then-
want to live there. No, I'm kidding.
We don't all over, but no, it's fun just a road trip there or Nashville. It's fun.
And Nashville's not
Nashville.
very far.
No.
And it's a wonderful place to go.
It is.
Yeah, I went to a seminar there. It's like, man, it's like a 4-hour drive. It
yeah,
was
it's
nothing.
not bad at all.
And it's
We like
straight
that
down
too.
65. It's not a drive. It's easy.
It's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then of course Louisville's fun.
Yep.
That's fun too. I'm trying to think of where else.
Yeah, I
Those are
love
the great
all those
places.
places.
Yeah.
They're a ton of fun. So, what would you say your superpower or superpowers are?
Making people feel included, inclusive. Like I have a mastermind group that I'll be starting here soon, and you are invited to a seat at the table. I think that's important. I feel like I remember, I think I've done this just because I remember growing up and not being included and remember I know how that feels. So I want to include people. I have a ladies event that happens every month. It's the fourth Wednesday of the month. Happened very organically. We've been meeting for 2 years now, and it'll be 2 years in August. The Ladies of Real Estate. We meet at Hotel Carmichael. And I wanted to create this group that had no, it was very neutral. Again, I want to be broker neutral. But people have come there from all the different brokerages, all the different mortgage companies, home warranty companies. I wanted to have a gathering to where it wasn't based on anything. It's you're a lady, you're in real estate. Let's come together in a lovely place and connect. And just to hear the conversations that happen during those connections, I think I've had 40 to 50 people there.
Wow,
the
that's
most.
a lot. Yeah.
Then we've had people that 20 people. Whoever comes, and I don't have any expectation, and it's not structured at all. So I've had people ask me to sponsor if they could sponsor it, but it's not that kind of an event. I'm protecting it because it's very much a community. And like I said, hearing conversations of, oh, we're friends on Facebook, but we've never met. Here you are able to meet and be among other women that are very empowering, encouraging, and with no agenda. It's not a recruiting event. Very, very, very important. It's just a time for everyone to connect and just be seen. Because I feel like this world is so distracting and very fast, and we're all busy. And I think, like we were talking about, busyness is such a thing that people think, oh, the busier I am, the more important I am. No, it's not that way at all. But just to stop and have a glass of champagne or just come to a lovely place is something that I think is needed.
Yeah. And, there's lots of benefits. I just by thinking about it, and you probably know a lot more than I do, but I would think one of the benefits is as you meet other people, if real estate agents meet other agents, when you have a transaction then with somebody or an offer comes through with their name on it or any of that, it helps.
It does, because there's already that person, and that she's not going to get in the way of anything.
Right.
Not that realtors do that. We don't do that, but
nobody ever gets in the way of anything.
No, never. But no, it's the common thread of real estate. Well, our life in general is about relationship. It's about the relationship, and how we pour into the relationships and grow those relationships is something that I feel like is a superpower.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and just want to include people, empower them, encourage them to feel like they can do whatever they want.
So, since you do the whole coaching and everything, I'm kind of curious on your answer on this. So, Rick and I have talked to tons of realtors, and we were shocked to find out that 90% of realtors fail in the first 5 years. So, as a coach, what do you think is the biggest reason?
I feel like before they get into it, going through the pre-licensing course, they don't understand or they don't take it as seriously as maybe they should. They don't have the concept of, I'm opening a business. This is a business. And I feel like some people think it's okay just to have their license and maybe do it part-time. This is not a part-time gig at all. And really showing up, and it's uncomfortable, and this is hard to accept too, is there's no such thing as instant gratification. The things that you're doing today, you may not see the results from. The actions you're taking today, you may not see results from in a month, 2 months, or even next year or ever. But you have the control of what you're doing, what actions you're taking. You have the control to do that. You can't control what everybody else is doing. I think there's a lot of comparison too that happens because people don't see what happened behind the scenes. So you do you. And I feel like they need to understand why. Why did I get my license? Have that realization and have really solid goals. And I just don't think people do. And I feel like they think that they had the expectation of it would be easier than this. It's not.
Yeah.
Being a realtor is not. And they get discouraged, distracted, and realize, oh, this is not for me. And they move on. So I would love to get in front of people. And I have gotten in front of people before they get their license and let them know that. And not to be mean or negative, because I'm not, but just so they know the expectation that they need to have in their head and heart to really be successful and to open it up and know, okay, this is the way it is. It's going to take a minute to gain some traction, but gosh, when they get traction and some momentum, they can do whatever they want. But I feel like they just kind of stop at, oh, this is hard, I can't.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing because I've mentioned before, Rick and I did the same thing. Or when I say Rick and I was in the car industry for a long time, and I was transitioning. I was like, look, my kids are getting older. I can't do this.
Yes.
And I love the financial side. So I actually came to talk to Rick before I even went for my license. And it was
yes.
nice to have that conversation because he, like you just said, he goes, look, you're used to getting paid every 2 weeks and everything. That doesn't happen here. He goes, you might get a loan approved and get a contract, but you may not close on that for a month or two.
Right?
He goes, so you have to realize there's a whole mindset. So as you were going through that, I'm reliving vivid memories of that conversation I had with him. And I think it's huge.
Oh, it is.
I think if you want to jump into either one of the fields, you need to have that conversation first. Find out the ins, the outs. Maybe even take a week or maybe a day. So, hey, let's see what a realtor actually does. Like a shadow.
And call on those realtors that you know, or call me, and I can help you with that too, without any agenda or anything. Very objectively, look at it and see what is it about real estate that why are you doing this?
Yes.
Really dig deep about why is it that you want this, and reach out to those realtors that you know that are doing what you think that you want to do, and ask them, take them to coffee, pick their brain. Hopefully they will be open to that. And if they're not, call me. You can take me to coffee and pick my brain, and I can help. I love connecting people too. I love that whole connection process of, oh, you need this, you do that, let's connect you. I really enjoy that as well. So yes, I would be very objective about connecting people and, helping them make that decision and really deciding like, okay, this is really what I'm doing, and jumping in with both feet. Not like, maybe I'll do it a little bit here and there. You can't just do it a little bit. You need to own it. And it's so much more about showing houses.
Yeah, it's a lot more
You
than
show
that.
houses like this much of your time. It's not HGTV.
No. I think that's
That's a
is.
misconception. I know. You're in $1 million houses every day.
Yeah. But I think another piece of it, everybody talks about the money piece, which comes if you work it.
Yeah.
But coming out of the car business, because I came out of the car business also, then I was a new home salesperson at a builder, and when both those jobs, both those sales positions, I didn't have to generate my own, I'll call it a customer. I know she doesn't like it, but a customer or lead. Okay.
Guess, your own guess,
But it's
sir.
not
Your own
guess.
guess.
For this. I understand.
Fine,
I understand guess. But in this, you have to generate. So if your own lead. So if you are selling anywhere else, or if you are doing anything that you think, I can go do that, and you think that those leads are just going to come to you, that's not how it works for most people. Now, you still, even if it, you have a huge sphere of influence, you still have to go after that sphere of influence.
Absolutely.
You still have to tell them what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody comes to you if you're what Ian likes to call the secret agent. Nobody knows you're doing it. They can't. Right. And even when they do, even when you tell them, you go tell them one time, they aren't coming to you. They'll forget.
Yeah.
And they aren't sending you referrals. And then you get the people who say, well, I don't want to bother them. What do you mean bother them?
Bother. They're open for business.
Yeah. And I also think you said something else I think is really important is when you open a business, if the same person went and they opened a store, what would they do?
Exactly.
Right?
They would equip it.
They would equip it.
Yeah.
They would market it.
Yeah.
They would they would talk to everybody about their new store.
Right.
Why is it that you can't do that with real estate when, quite honestly, most people are more interested in real estate than the store you opened?
It's true.
Right?
So people love to talk about real estate. And how are you answering the question, how's the market? How are we answering that question?
Yeah.
Being positive and being like, instead of saying, oh, I'm so busy, instead turn it back to them. Why are you asking? Are you interested? Do you have an interest in it? And it's really making it about whoever you're with, making it about them.
Right.
How can I help them? And yes, I am in real estate, love to help you, but what is it? Where do you want to go in your real estate? What's your goal? What brings you, if you're at an open house, what brings you to the open house? What is going on in their lives that you can help solve that problem? Or maybe it's not even a problem. It's just that they're having a new baby, or they're getting married, or whatever. What is happening that's motivating this transition? And when you become more interested than interesting, that's when the magic happens. You may not see it right away,
Right.
because there's no such thing as instant gratification. But if you can be more interested in whoever you're around or in company with, that's when it happens.
And what is the best way for somebody to get a hold of you if they are looking for any coaching or just want to talk to you about it, see if it's the right fit for them?
We can absolutely do a discovery call. No expectation. I don't pressure. I don't believe in that. I'm not going to force anything. But yeah, they could call me at my phone number or text, either way, 317-525-8048. Or my email is Kelly Kichler, Kichler, at conversationswithkk.com.
I like your email. That's great.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Rick, how will they get hold of you or I?
The best way would go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938.
All right, and now we'll do the question of the week. And the question of the week is sponsored by, Rick and I, the Hardworking Mortgage Guys, where we believe in helping and supporting you and your realtor or your coach by sending constant updates through the loan process. Contact us at hardworkingmortgageguys.com. All right, so here's a tough question. What was your first car?
A 1969 Ford Fairlane, and it was green.
That was a common color.
Was it common?
Back then, yep.
I got it right before I got my license, so it sat in the garage for a minute, and my dad found it because he was into cars, and it was 1969, the car, not the year I got it, but the car was 1969, and it still had the covers of the seat belts.
Really?
When I got it. By the time I was done with it, it was beat up a little bit.
Was it a two-door or four-door?
Two-door.
Two-door. Oh, so that's a good one.
And it had this shift on the column.
Okay.
It was a stick shift on the column.
Okay, so 3 on the tree?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I had to think about that.
And what do you remember the motor? How big an engine did it have? Come on.
It just had an engine in it, so it went real fast.
Oh, yeah. You sure?
It's green.
428 Cobra Jet.
Sure.
No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it didn't have that. You remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It was fast.
Yeah. I probably drove it too fast, but I don't know what the engine was.
Yeah. Did it live through you?
It lived through me. Yes.
That's a big feat we're finding. We ask this question to every single person.
It lived through me. It
and
got
most
beat
of them,
up, but
yeah.
when I went to Disney, yes.
Oh, you took it to Disney?
No, I left it at home when I went to Disney.
Okay.
My dad was like, no.
It was probably because your dad was a car guy.
He was a car guy.
Made
and he
sure
was like, okay, I need to protect this a little bit better than what she's doing. So
go ahead.
It's interesting you mentioned about the steering column.
Yes.
Well, Mercedes, not too long ago, started doing the same thing on the side. But it was like your blinker. Basically, you just tap it. There were so many people that would take it and try to yank on them.
Yeah.
Because they weren't used to it.
Yeah.
Because they're all now used to the shifter at the bottom. So it was funny. Like anytime I got a new Mercedes with somebody, I'm like, hey, look, you just tap it. You don't have to yank on it like the old school.
Without the H.
Yeah. So then it ends up broken in the lap.
Yeah.
Or brand new car.
The handles in their hand.
Yeah. It's a Mercedes. You don't want to break anything on it.
No.
You don't break a thing on a Mercedes. So you were saying that the Disney kind of is very interesting because you hear so much positive about that university, Disney University, and the training that you get as it relates to taking care of guests, correct? Mm-hmm. How do you see that has been a huge benefit to not only your real estate career, but helping in your coaching career?
Well, Disney is very much like taking time to pour into their cast members because they weren't employees, they were cast members. So just to be able to work, you would go through traditions, and that was a 2-week process. Before you even got to the park, you went through the Disney University for 2 weeks. Every day, dress up, showed up. And then when I got into guest relations, after that first initial 6-month period with the college program, then that was a 2-month process. So they're very much about pouring into the cast members. And so I guess I realized that when I'm working on professional or personal development, it's not an indulgence. It's very much needed We all need it. And I feel like sometimes it's looked at as, oh, when I got time for that, I'll do that. When I'm doing this or that, when I've got time for it, you've got to make time for it. Time block it. Literally time block it. When you're spending time on developing yourself. And I just became a part of the John Maxwell team. And so there's all kinds of training and modules to look at and go around coaching. So I wanted to be the best coach ever. So John Maxwell, people have heard of him. He's written hundreds of books. And so I thought that would be a great person to connect with and able to get certified through him. But to go back to your question about Disney specifically, I think it's just they almost gave permission to me to spend time on that. Because if they're doing it, and they're training, and you have a great experience. When you walk into a park, the cast members are very well trained, and they know how to create an experience. And that's what I want to do with coaching, too, is create an experience, a journey that the client goes through. It's their journey. I just get to come alongside, but it's their journey, and just equip them with that. So I feel like that's what they really taught me, and to pay attention to the details, and even the smallest detail makes a big difference.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. So if somebody's listening to this right now and they're like, oh, I don't know if coaching's for me, what does coaching help somebody, whether they're new or they've been seasoned?
Sure. I mean, we all have goals, right? Or we should. A coach is someone that it's not a do to process, it's a do with process. I come alongside them and say, okay, where are you right now? And how can we get you to where you want to be? Like, just basically showing them this is where you are and where do you want to be? And let's figure out the steps or the activities or actions that you're going to do to get there. And it all is about the daily activities. What are you doing daily to get there? Sometimes when people are like, oh my gosh, I want to do this by the year's end, that's a long time, and that can be very cumbersome and overwhelming. That sometimes it's like, oh, I can't do that, so I'm not going to do anything. It's almost that analysis paralysis thing that we do. Human beings, I do it too. But if you stop and think, okay, what do I need to do today, right now, that's manageable, that first step? That's what a coach is there to do, is to help them realize, oh, I can do this. Like, chunk it down, make it smaller, but impactful. The small things that you can do on a daily basis impact your whole year. But we don't have to look at the whole year. We set goals for it. But let's just figure out what we can do today to get to where we want to be. And we can even chuck it down to quarterly to make it easier. Yeah.
I'm guessing everybody's different on how they do it. I know my biggest issue for me is when I decide to do something, I have very, very little patience. Mm-hmm. And I always think your strengths are your weaknesses. I think it's one of my strengths, but I also think it's one of my weaknesses. It's a strength in the processing of a loan and that type of thing, because everything has to be done today. Everything has to be answered today.
Yes.
So I don't, I hear people say, well, that person never got back with me. If I don't get back with you, I messed up. I mean, and I get back right away because I just can't wait.
Yeah.
But I have the problem with, okay, I wanted to put this podcast together, right? I had to do everything at the same time. Ian will tell you, I drove him crazy because I had to do everything.
He's a very meticulous person. I'm a let's wing it and let's go.
Yeah.
He is this has to be set up this way. This has to be set this way. So
sometimes you just got to go with it.
Yeah.
You're a good combination because you do pay attention to the details, but you're like, oh, let's go do it and figure it out as we go. But you can also drive each other a little.
I do a lot of figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
But I want to plan. So I'm okay with changing my plan. But I know that there are people like me who, that's my biggest issue. My coach kept, slow down. It's okay. Slow down.
Yes.
But a lot of this is because of my coach. We were doing a podcast, but we changed it based on my conversations with him.
Oh, nice.
And I think that's something that people don't understand, the value they get in a coach, that I think is important is, and I think it is of a consultant that's kind of the same way. They're out there talking to people, right? So if they find a person who is really, really good at something, they can bring that information back, right? And give it to you. So if you're good at talking to customers and doing that kind of thing, that can be really valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
if you find somebody else they're not so good at talking to people, but they're really good at something else, you bring that back. So
Connect them.
yeah,
Yes,
that coach ends up with all this knowledge of people who do it at the top level, so they can bring it back to the people who need that.
Yes, and help each other. Yeah, I love to connect people. Like I said, when I see a need, like, ooh, you have that need, but they do this really well. Let's connect you. And I always get permission from both to,
Yes.
exchange names or whatever. But yeah, connecting like that, because we don't all have to be good at everything.
Right.
We can't. It's just impossible.
Right.
That's why we have a team of resources around us to take over when my knowledge or expertise is not there.
Right.
I know somebody that is an expert in whatever it is that they're wanting. So yeah, that's so important. And yeah, I have to work on my patience too, because I do want it right now. Now.
I think it's a
Yes.
U.S. thing. I'm not positive, but I know it's a me thing.
I like it. But just knowing that you're doing the right activities and being where you are, being present and not thinking about, oh, I shouldn't have done that yesterday, or what am I going to do tomorrow? No. It's about really just being present where you are, doing what you can do. That's where the magic is
Yeah.
when you're present where you are and able to do whatever it is that you're needing to do that day and accomplish it, and you move on to the next. And you can dream about tomorrow and appreciate the past, of course, but not dwell on either, because that's where your power is
Right.
in the presence.
You can't change the past.
You can't. You can learn from it.
Can't change it.
Absolutely. Nope.
I'm working on that.
You're trying to. Well, yeah, you're working on time machine, are you?
Is that what you're gonna do?
Hey, I can make millions that way.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
You figure that out.
Yeah, how's that going?
Although I don't know. That would mess up so many things if you had a time machine.
Whew.
I don't know what your whole world would change every
would
second if people
change.
could go back and change what happened.
That'd be very confusing.
Yes. What's amazing how just like buying a house, when somebody buys a home, it changes so much of their life. It changes who their friends are. It changes who they know. It could change who their kids marry. It can change what
Yeah.
schools they go to. It
Yeah.
changes everything.
Absolutely.
And almost every decision we make every day does that.
It's an emotional thing
It's
too.
crazy, yes.
Because you are, if you're moving from one house to another, there's memories you're leaving from that first house. But it's also exciting. Maybe you're getting into a bigger house. But yeah, it's a
Right.
different neighborhood. If you have kids, then they may be leaving a school or a neighborhood kids or whatever it may be. It is emotional. And to have a realtor that you can partner with in that way is something that I love, being able to equip the realtors to do that in such a way that it's going to be different. It's not about just a transaction closing on whatever date. It's about their lives.
Right.
And it's a big emotional, and it can be a roller coaster to no fault of anyone, but just things pop up during a transaction that you're like, oh, didn't see that coming. How is the realtor remaining calm and not making it about them, staying out of the way, and just being very solution driven?
So, Rick and I love stories, so I got to ask this question. What's your favorite memory, whether it's real estate or coaching?
I think one of my favorite, when you said coaching, this just popped up. I was sitting at Java House, and so I wouldn't just have a coaching session at a Java House or anything. It would be in my office, so no distractions. But this happened just to be an organic connection, and we were going through things that she wanted to go through as far as like goals and such. And then I was like, well, who do you have to become to do these things? And she just kind of looked at me like, oh, like I was giving her permission to do that, to dream big. And that's one of the things, and it was before I became a coach, before Conversations with KK was born. And I realized this is what I should be doing, because her whole self changed, her whole presence, her whole energy changed. She was like, oh, and she walked out of there much differently than she walked in. That's my favorite story, because her day was different, and she was one that I referred to before as she texted me, I did what you had suggested to do, and I'm meeting with a client tomorrow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is, and when I noticed, and when just noticing it too, I'm so happy I noticed it, because she walked in, or she walked out of that place much differently than she walked in. So to be able to see that and witness it, that's my favorite story.
Yeah. It is interesting, and I love the mindset of how people think that sometimes you can just go, yeah, you can get this. You can buy this car. You can buy this house. And the emotions and they're like, they don't realize that nothing clicks until you say that. And then something just clicks in them. Their eyes get bright and they're like, whoa, hold on.
Their energy.
Yes.
We all have energy. We're just balls of energy.
Yep.
And their energy is a shift. You can feel it. It's hard to explain.
Yep.
You can feel that shift of, yeah, I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's empowering.
Yep. Especially, we see it a lot. First-time home buyers in their family. So that first one is nobody's ever owned a home. And then you tell somebody, hey, I got you pre-approved. They're like, what? I didn't think this was actually going to go through.
Yeah, they were just going through the motions.
Yeah.
Like, here's my pay stub. Here's this. Okay, do what you can. But when you're like, you're doing it.
Yes.
That is it. Yeah, the whole, and I remember at one of my first closings, this is back when I first got licensed, I don't know how it all happened, but I got to literally hand the keys to my buyer. This is their first time. Oh my gosh, they were renting an apartment, doing, just they weren't ready yet. But I got to I remember the keychain, hand them the keys to their house, and they looked at me. I'm like, we all just started crying because I was handing them their keys, and I don't know how I got into the mix of that because I was just where I was sitting, but I took advantage. I noticed it. I didn't take advantage. I noticed
you took advantage.
I took advantage. Yeah.
She kept the keys. She didn't get
I went and moved in. Still living there. No, it was awesome just to be a part of that moment and realizing, I am part of this moment and being present. And just being there is amazing.
That's fantastic. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to do for coaching, talk to you about coaching,
yes,
what's the best way?
Phone number is 317-525-8048. And then my email is Kelly Kichler, Kichler, at conversationswithkk.com.
Awesome. And to get a hold of Ian or I, it's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And please follow us so you don't miss any Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
Kelly, thank you for your time. It's been wonderful having you on, and great information, because we get some mentors, but having a full coach, it's phenomenal to have on here.
Oh, thank you. I love it. I love what I do and excited to grow it. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I certainly appreciate the invitation and having me.
Great.
That's awesome. All right. And reminder, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, refinance, contact Rick or I. We'll be more than happy to help you.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Rittman's NMLS number 664589. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.